Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about things in my life, and the topic for this video is how I learned to listen to the Spirit in my life. When I was about 19 years old, we were having a young adult activity in the mountains in Spanish Fork Canyon, sliding down the snow. And when I got there, I remember Dale Coyle and Chris Anderson were up the top of this hill. And they said, "Oh, watch out. It goes down fast and then it kind of hits like this rather than going smoothly." And Paul Clark, that's who it was, this morning broke his collarbone doing that. I'm young and think I can do anything. I said, "Oh, I'm going to go down." And right then, just as I'm going to go down, someone speaks to me just right next to me. I mean, it was right next to me. And it says, "Don't go down." I looked around and Chris or Dale weren't over there. There's no one over there. But I distinctly heard an audible voice say, "Don't go down." And I thought, guess I haven't learned yet. So I went down. I got down there and I popped. I didn't break my tailbone, but I really bruised my hip spine area. And that was right before I was to go on my mission. And I haven't had really problems with it all my life, but it has been a somewhat of a nagging situation there, but I've been able to take care of it. But I didn't listen to the Spirit. Now, a few months later, I went to the LTM to learn Spanish to go to Argentina South Mission back in the olden days. And there I found out the reason for that prompting that day, in a way. My first companion, Elder Johnson, were in Caseros. And we used to ride the train a lot back and forth to Hurlingham and Palermo, and there was baggage cars there that we could put our bikes in and then go down to the next city, then go meeting people or tracting or whatever we're going to do. So when we come back, the cross guards are down because the train is in the station. But we as young kids or missionaries or whatever, we were going to go over and see the other elders there in Caseros. So we got off, and it was night. It was dark, and we got off the train and proceeded to cross the two sets of tracks to go to the elder's house. And so as we were going across there, Elder Johnson was in the front, and I was behind him. And something talked to me or whispered to me, not quite as audible as the other. Well, maybe it was. It said, "Hurry up and get across." That time I did do that. I hurried up to catch up with Elder Johnson. And I got a big surprise. In Argentina, to save power, they turn off the big lights in the front of the railroad engines. And so you can't see them coming. Just soon after, I don't know if it was a matter of a few feet or something, the light came on this big railroad engine, and it came roaring into this train station. And if I had not hurried up, I think I may have been smashed by the train. So I look at that as that the first time I didn't listen to the Spirit, the second time I'd learned, and I did, and I think it saved my life. Now, throughout my life, I've learned day by day, week by week, year by year, how to better listen to the Spirit. Now, none of us are perfect, and we all got to figure out our own way to do that and to work with the Spirit. But I consider myself fortunate to be blessed to each day try to communicate with the Spirit and listen. There's been many, many, many times where promptings, ideas come into my mind, especially in my later years when you're not so busy with life and kids and everything else. One thing I do right now is if I have a situation or a problem or a challenge that needs to be figured out to move forward, whether it's in your job and business and family and church, whatever, usually what I do is this. I think through the situation, get the facts. Uh, that's a mantra of my life. Make sure you get the facts, especially in business. And then I let them permeate. I let them simmer. I let them ponder on my mind. And I get answers and promptings to those during the night, next few days, week, whatever. And I get an answer to a question that usually I wouldn't have ever thought of or had not thought of. But that's something you need to hone and do throughout your life and learn to work with and communicate with the Spirit, in my opinion, really in your own way. Anyway, so I thought I would share that, something that has helped me throughout my life. And thank you for listening.